Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show, your number one resource for business growth education, insights, and news. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show exclusively on RVASBN.com. I'm Corey Mosley, your host for today's show. Let's face it, no one plans for a car accident. And when it happens, the damage goes beyond just your vehicle. You're suddenly dealing with insurance claims, rental cars, repair estimates, and a whole lot of stress. That's where our guests today come in. At DRP Collision Repair, husband and wife owners Margo and Kendall Ickes have made it their mission to guide people through this complicated, emotional process with clarity and care. From navigating insurance claims to delivering high-quality repairs, they're here to make sure you feel supported every step of the way. Margo, Kendall, welcome to the RVA Small Business Show.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Super excited to have you here. Now, let's start with the obvious. There are a lot of collision repair shops out there. What makes DRP Collision Repair different and a shop that people should choose and trust? And I'll start with you.
I would say that we genuinely care. And there are a lot of businesses and business owners where that is at the forefront of their mission and it's at the forefront of ours. And when you come into our shop, you're going to be greeted by somebody who has your best interest at heart. And no matter how many times you come in the door, that's what you should expect, is us caring and genuinely showing up for you.
Kendall?
Yeah, so I always recommend people check reviews when they're selecting a shop. We're really looking for someone that can meet the needs, like you said in your introduction there. There's a lot more going on than just the collision repair. Basically, as far as that goes, we can all fix your car. But who's going to help you through that claims process, answer those claims questions, make sure you file the claim correctly so that you get the best deductible and the best options with your policy that you have. And we're there to solve for all this.
Now, I know that, the repair process, it's something, and I've been through this. So not everyone can fix your car. I've had some bad experiences with body shops. So they can attempt to, I suppose, but they don't always get it right. But, with people feeling like it's just kind of this black box, what does DRP do differently, behind the scenes that may actually speed up things or improve the quality of the repair? I'll do it in reverse this time.
Well, what's completely unique about DRP Collision Repair is that we do all our repairs in-house, where pretty much all body shops will do the body and paint. But they might sub out wheel alignments, suspension repairs, if the engine gets damaged, certainly computers, networking, programming, things that might be damaged on your vehicle, calibrations to make sure all your sensors are working correctly after. One of the challenges with typical body shops is when they send those out to third parties, they have a hard time standing behind that and guaranteeing that. We can guarantee it because we did it in-house with our technicians, with our equipment. And the other thing that really makes us different than most of the people around us is we do our repair planning process. We call it our dedicated production system. So typically when a repair comes into a shop, it's a complicated animal. We take all of humans' most advanced technology, material science, and if you name it, computer science, we put it into a vehicle, we smash it into a tree, and someone has to sort that out for us. And so what we try to do is we try to front load all those problems when normally it would just be as the problems show up, they're solved. We try to solve them on the first day in our repair planning process. And that can start us off a little slow, but once we get all those problems solved, after that, it's just execute the plan and everything gets done really fast. So it ends up being lower costs on average and certainly less time.
Okay. You want to add anything for that?
I do. So for each type of claim that we get on the front end, what we will do as well is if you have different insurance providers, have different ways that they work their processes in. And so our staff are trained to be able to look at what is the most expedited version of that from the time you come in the door. Whether you have insurance A, B, C, or D, can we pre-order your parts? Can it
be new parts versus used parts?
And we try to answer those questions based off of the historic information that we have from those insurance providers and who the local adjusters are, and making sure that we're going to meet the timelines customers also take into consideration whenever they drop it off. So,
well, you're making you made a perfect lead in the topic of insurance companies. So a lot of people think after an accident, right, I need to call my insurance company. Question is, should that be their first call, or should it be to a trusted body shop like yours?
We would prefer that you called our shop first. We can help advise you and answer questions first. You're probably going to have, if you're lucky, 2 or 3 insurance claims in your lifetime, especially related to your vehicle. We're going to do 100 of those every month. So we're going to know how every insurance company operates. We're going to know all the types of coverage, and we're going to be able to advise you to make an informed decision.
Wow. Well, I guess he answered that one right there. No need to follow up on that one. Communication. So I think one of the biggest things, right, where people feel is, how are you communicating? What's happening with my vehicle? Where is it? Communication is everything for people, especially when the car is in the shop. So how do you keep customers informed and reassured throughout the process? Margo, I'll start with you.
It is completely up to the customer. So that's one of the first questions that we ask. If you come in the door and say you want to be informed, we're going to note down your preferences. We're going to talk to you about whether or not you want to text, if you want a call, if you prefer email, and how often. Do you just want to know once we've picked that date when your parts come in? It's completely customizable based off of the customer's personal experience.
Anything to add to that?
Yeah, sure. It's like raising children. We treat them all the same by treating them all differently.
I like that. That's good.
We have a host of options. Of course, it starts with the drop-off appointment where we ask, how would you like to be informed? But we have automated messages that come from our management system along the way if you don't opt out of that. If you'd like to be text, would you like to be emailed? Would you like a phone call? And what is the frequency of those calls or those updates? So we customize it to you, and that's part of your drop-off appointment conversation.
Let's talk about your team for a minute, because that certainly can make or break the business. You can have great owners and great people that have great intentions, but if you don't have a great team, you can't deliver and maintain the level of service and reviews, as you talked about, that you guys have done for how many years now?
15 years.
For 15 years. So let's talk about the training and development. What kind of training and development do your technicians go through to stay ahead in really what is a fast-changing industry?
Absolutely. So a couple of our core values, excellence and lifelong learning. And what that really means to us is that we have to have a plan in place to keep our technicians at the highest level of training that's available. So we have subscriptions to iCar and All Data and some other things, and we have a required training program. So if you're on our staff, you will get trained every single month, and that's ongoing. So we don't miss that.
And then from, I would say, a customer service perspective, my background is in banking and process and project management. And so some of the skills that we try to impart, not only like as business owners, but a lot of our core team has been there for an extended period of time. So they learn how to lead with empathy, and sales is definitely a big component, but being able to sit in the customer's shoes and then hearing what they're not saying. So it's an interesting process, but they either will have experience with me or Kendall or one of our senior leadership team to talk through how to deal with almost every facet of the experience.
You know, you mentioned something about being more of an end-to-end doing the glass repair, doing some of these extra things. What made you make the decision to make that level of investment where other shops wouldn't? They would just sublet it out, as you said.
Yeah, one of the big challenges I had is with those third-party vendors, especially when it came to technical things like wheel alignments. Those are getting really technical on modern vehicles, calibrations for radar sensors and cameras and things like that. We would send them out for calibrations. I would test drive them. We would have issues with them and have to take them back over and over and over again. And we don't want our customers having to figure that out and bring it back to us, right? So if we do it, we understand it, and we can stand behind it.
What's the biggest myth that people get wrong when it comes to an accident or working with a collision repair or even choosing one? Because, you know, I find a lot of times people just default sometimes to the one closest to them or the one the insurance recommends, but that's not always the best option for them. Either one of you.
I'd say my perspective is people are afraid to file claims, and we are advocates for all of our customers. And so a lot of times if they're not sure what kind of policy they have, what their deductibles are going to be, what that process will look like. And so it's like, oh, I shouldn't file it because immediately my premiums are going to go up. And That's one of the big parts of us being there, is to be able to communicate with you up front and let you know what to expect, and then help you make the best decision for whatever it is that fits your needs.
That makes sense. Kendall, you want to add anything to that?
I think she got it covered. Total is out of my mouth.
Good answer. Good answer. Well, before I let you go, for someone walking through the doors for the first time, they may be overwhelmed. I mean, many people have all experienced this. Anybody that can think back to any accident they've had, they're overwhelmed, maybe even frustrated, particularly if it wasn't their fault, because it never is, right? Now, what kind of experience can they expect? And you've talked about it a little bit, but I want to ask it more directly. What kind of experience can they expect working with DRP Collision Repair?
We will try to be the calm in the storm.
It might be a tagline right there. You might be on to something there. Kendall, any thoughts?
Yeah, well, we don't want to just restore your vehicle. We want to restore your peace of mind. And customers don't understand unless they've been to other places what they get when they come to us. We are really intentional. Like, we're going to fix the car. That's the obvious part. But we're really intentional about nurturing the emotional needs too.
And it just hit me. People in Virginia still don't necessarily know Virginia law. Can you make everybody clear on the relative law about their ability to choose? Like, Virginia has a specific law about that not every state has. Can you tell us, either one of you, about that?
Yeah. So in Virginia, if you have a claim on your vehicle, you're allowed to get your vehicle repaired wherever you want to. And insurance companies can use some clever language to help direct them to the place that's best for them. But you do get to choose that. They'll say things like, we can't guarantee the repairs at that shop, or unless you go to one of our preferred suppliers. The reality is they can't guarantee them at all because they're not doing the repairs. So it really is important to do your own research and make sure you're making an informed decision.
Yeah.
There's verbiage that they use similar to medical terminology, out of network. And so when you say out of network, it creates this illusion,
right?
That
fear.
Yeah. And so that's why I said that the collision repair whole entire process is a lot of emotions, but the fear with the out of network is one of the things that it's a challenge every day. But if they give us a call, we can talk them through it. And we've been in business for 15 years and we'll keep showing up.
That's phenomenal. Having a trusted repair shop is so important. We didn't get a chance to talk a lot about it in the opening here, but you have a tremendous background from an instruction level. You were an instructor, right? In body shop repair. So you were the guy teaching many of the guys that are at some of these shops now. Just tell us a little bit about that before I let you guys go.
Sure. So I wasn't sure if I'd ever get a chance to go to college. I was able to raise money and go to college for collision repair. When that program, when I graduated the program at J. Sargent Reynolds, I was able to work there and start teaching, and then I took over their program. So I was a director of that program for J. Sargent Reynolds until it ended. And then after that, I taught for ICAR for 14 years, which is where a lot of my technicians get their training now.
Wow. So I'm not just getting a great family-owned business, I'm getting experts in logistics and process, and the guy that's teaching the whole thing to other people.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you guys being here today and taking the time to really educate us on a few key things here and really share some of your differences in the marketplace. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. If you or someone has recently been in an accident or just wants to be better prepared, reach out to DRP Collision Repair. You can contact DRP team member Jennifer at 804-598-7625. Send an email to claims@drpcollision.com or visit their website at drpcollision.com to learn more. This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, the premier show featuring interviews with the best and brightest experts and thought leaders. I'm Corey Mosley, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, presented by the RVA Small Business Network. Be sure to like, share, and join our newsletter at rvasbn.com.